age groups, because now that becomes so diversified in age, that it's a good idea to separate it. And with that said, I hear one of them howling back here. That would be Nicholas.
One thing we're going to do on that matter, instead of just looking for people to teach, we're going to do that. But we're going to have it as such in this manner. Everybody comes, just like church. And the ones that are not doing anything can help the teachers. We'll just be here an hour early. That way we don't really have to worry about, well, I'm going to take this job, I'm going to take that job, I'm going to take this job. No, there'll be plenty enough people here. So what we'll do is just come in here at 10 o'clock. This will be starting before long. And we'll just come in here at 10 o'clock and we'll have Sunday school. And then everyone will just gather in here for church. Instead of just having children's church, it'll go on an hour. Be the same thing, but it'll go on an hour earlier. And so we're going to work on that. We're going to go toward that. If you have your Bibles this morning, go to the great book of Deuteronomy. Great book of Deuteronomy. Now, I want you to look at some things here. We're going to look at some things today, and I want to bring out some things about, because we're coming up on the time of Passover, and understand also something about today is we're going to be having a Friday night, a Good Friday service here starting at 6:30, our regular scheduled time of the evening that we have services. And we're going to, today we've got this morning and lunch later and business meeting later. So there won't be an evening service, and there won't be one next Sunday, because I'm taking next Sunday night service and put it on Friday night. We're going to have a Good Friday service. And so we'll, but the main thing I want you to look at today, because what I'm going to talk about today is going to affect you. It's going to affect you all this next year. It's going to affect everything that you do. It's going to affect a lot, may I say, the majority of things that is going to take place in your life next year. And this probably one of the of something that is overlooked and misunderstood. May I say it that way? Misunderstood, and things that are misunderstood. The Word tells me that we perish because of the lack of knowledge. So therefore, we don't fall a lot of times into the blessings that God has set before us simply because of not understanding a lot of times. So, in the great book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, please. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God, for in the month of Abib the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Now I want you to understand something according to the Jewish calendar and everything. We're still in the year 2009, and here in just not but a few days, you know, we will be into 2010 according to their year. And I want you to understand something that is done during this Passover time. And each of you know about the Passover, but we'll be reading about this in a few minutes. And what I'm, rather than to dig and to go over something that is of the ordinary to you that you already know about Passover and a lot of things. I'm looking out for you this morning for this year 2010. As a pastor, my duty is not only to teach you the Word, but to teach you to be blessed. And this is what it's all about. This is what I want to bring before you this morning, because a lot of us, I'm going to get into some areas here in just a few minutes that are probably going to, you're going to think that I'm preaching for your money. I don't want your money. I want you blessed. And I want you to get understanding of this. Because if you get understanding of this, there's nothing can stop you. God will just open the windows of heaven up for you. So I want you to just follow along with me, please. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy God of the flock and the herd, and in the place which the Lord shall choose to place His name there. Understand that. Listen to that word. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days. Neither shalt there anything of the flesh, which thou sacrificest the first day at even, remain all night until the morning. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, but at the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place His name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even. At the going down of the sun, the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. And thou shalt roast and eat it in a place which the Lord thy God shall choose, and thou shalt turn in the morning and go unto thy tents. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shalt be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy God, and thou shalt do no work therein. 7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. Thou shalt keep the feast of the weeks unto the Lord thy God, with a tribute of a free will offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God, according to the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, according to how He's blessed you, in other words. Thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God. Thou and thy son and daughter and thy manservant, maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger and fatherless and widow that are among you in the place which the Lord thy God hath chosen to place His name there. Thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe to do these statutes. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine, and thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy maidservant and manservant and thy maidservant and the Levite, the stranger and the fatherless and the widow that are within thy gates. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord shall choose, because the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all thy works of thine hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which He shall choose in the feast